Hey everybody, this is Chewy Plays Nintendo, and today I want to talk about, I don't really know what I want to talk about. It's been a pretty quiet time in Animal Crossing world. There hasn't been too much news and everything, and I guess the one thing I kind of wanted to bring up next week, because I wanted to research it a little bit more, was about microtransactions. And I know a lot of people are kind of worried about that making its way into Animal Crossing New Horizons, especially since the last game we had for Animal Crossing has essentially gone full microtransactions at this point. In case you don't know which one I'm talking about Pocket Camp. So I guess I want to talk about that a little bit today. So Pocket Camp is a mobile game that utilizes microtransactions, or as EA would put it, surprise mechanics, in order to, get you a little bit further. So in the cases of Pocket Camp, you use them on fortune cookies, you can buy new terrains. There are always like these special items, like right now there's these wigs that people can buy with leaf tickets, and then some things are a little bit less useful, like speeding up crafting, or if you don't have enough crafting materials, you spend some leaf tickets and then all of a sudden you do. So I actually accidentally spent some the other day while I was decorating one of the homes in the Happy Home. I guess, what do they call that in that game? They have kind of a Happy Home showcase thing going on, and I have to say, I think they were very strategic about where they put this button, because I was just mindlessly clicking the screen, trying to speed my way through, and then all of a sudden I click and spend 25 leaf tickets for them to replace an item and get me a higher score, which didn't really matter to me. I didn't really care for a higher score. So, I don't know, some things are more useless, and then others, they really entice people, especially like the fortune cookies and stuff. So anyways, fans are pretty scared about Nintendo adding microtransactions to a mainline Animal Crossing game, and I mean, I've been around a while, Sergio's been around a while, but I do remember when New Leaf was coming out, people were having these same kinds of worries because free-to-play games had kind of become a big thing. Mobile gaming was essentially, people felt like it was going to take over the handheld gaming space, and in many ways it did. A lot of handheld gaming is kind of mobile related, and Nintendo's really the only company that's kept up a handheld, and technically, like right now, they're the only ones, and their system is both. Their system is both a handheld and a home console, so it's that hybrid experience that you can take on the go. So anyways, with the 3DS and everything, I know a lot of people were very, very worried about that being the fate of Animal Crossing. Of course, we didn't really see that, and in fact, Nintendo kind of did the opposite thing with New Leaf, where they kind of gave us some monthly updates, which they weren't big. They were just like an item every month, and for probably a couple years, I feel we got some items pretty regularly, and then after a few years of the game being out, we got a huge update, which was the Welcome Amiibo update, which to me, looking back at that type of update and what Nintendo kind of does with their games now, I don't know, I feel like that's something they would charge for in the future. So that's essentially what I'm going to get a little bit deeper into next week with some more research, but that's actually going to draw from a lot of different games, because we haven't had an Animal Crossing in a while, so there's really not a big way to go through it. But I did want to talk about more on microtransactions today. So essentially, I just don't think they're going to work in Animal Crossing. Even because technically, if you want to count it, we've gotten microtransactions through Amiibo with the Welcome Amiibo update. So essentially, you'd buy an Amiibo, you could scan that in, you get some Meow coupons. I always want to call them leaf tickets now because I've crossed over to the Pocket Camp world, but you'd get some Meow coupons, you'd get a new, camper in a campsite that comes with their little RV, and then you can go and talk to them and buy furniture from them, or even ask them to move in. But essentially, you could ask anybody with any Amiibo card to move in, except for special characters, of course. But that is, if you want to count it, we'll just say it's a form of microtransaction. So it's kind of something that does exist in the game. Some people don't count it just because like it is a piece of memorabilia, it's something you can collect, it's something a little bit more tangible than just an electronic object it's not something you can hold at all. So I guess a lot of people don't really count it because of that, but outside of that, I will say that the one big difference with these amiibo cards is that they can be shared both physically and digitally. So what I mean by this is that if I got an amiibo card and I went over to your place and we were playing and I said, hey, I have this amiibo card of, let's pick somebody really popular, Meringue, the rhino with kind of a cake type of look to her. But anyways, so I've got this Meringue card, and you're like, oh, that's my favorite villager in the whole wide world. Can I please scan her in and get her in my town? I can do that. Like, yes, I bought this extra thing, but it's not something that only I can use or only I have access to, whereas microtransactions in Pocket Camp, I can't really do anything with. I can't give you leaf tickets, I can't give you the items I get with my leaf tickets, and that kind of gets me to the digital aspect of it, where yes, there were like exclusive things that you could only get through the amiibo cards, a lot of new furniture and such and stuff like that. So the big example being Sanrio characters, which are kind of big in Pocket Camp right now, but Sanrio characters are the Hello Kitty kind of cast that they made for the game. But anyways, you could scan in a card, and over time you could collect their furniture and even have them move in. The one thing that is very different with this is that, yes, I have the Sanrio cards, I could buy every item in the game, but I can give them to you through the game. So they don't just exist electronically in my little space. I can also send it to yours in some way. So there's some sort of there's a way around having to buy these items in order to collect them. Like, one person can buy them, you can share your resources. Say you have a couple friends who also play the game and they get some cards. Say, you know what? With the way Animal Crossing has worked, and I feel like not a lot of people really appreciate this, but since Wild World, Animal Crossing has had online multiplayer. So you don't even have to have friends in your real physical life. You can have friends in your digital life and be like, hey, I need these items, do you have them? And they can say yes and exchange them with you. So I don't know, I feel like there are just so many ways to get these items that they're not quite like microtransactions as they are in kind of the free-to-play games. So that's another thing I want to get to with Animal Crossing New Horizons. This is not something that's going to be like a free-to-play type of game. This is, and I think Nintendo likes to distinguish between those. So what I mean by that is we're going to be paying, if I had to guess, $60 for Animal Crossing New Horizons, just because that's the regular pricing for Nintendo's big mainline titles. So we're going to pay that. Whereas Pocket Camp, you can just download it. You can just play. You can play for free. And really, like, the mobile ecosystem really depends on microtransactions to work. On the other hand, there's the possibility of DLC, you know? We've seen Nintendo kind of adopting a DLC kind of practice now, especially with the Switch. It's been something that's happening more often, but for example, I guess Zelda Breath of the Wild has a DLC pack. Splatoon 2 has a DLC pack. Both of these games have something that's kind of like a bigger thing that they add that people pay extra for. And, you know, they essentially work on them post-game and everything. So, I don't know. I feel like I got a complete game with Splatoon 2 and I guess Breath of the Wild, and I bought the DLC for both and felt like I was happy with the extra stuff. So I don't know, I feel like Nintendo's been pretty good about those practices. Also, Splatoon 2 is kind of an interesting thing because we got kind of a bare bones type of game at the beginning, but for 2 years straight, like, they updated this game like crazy, so it just kept going. Every single month there was new stuff to look forward to. So I don't know, I'm also kind of hoping Nintendo goes that direction. I know, like I said, New Leaf kind of had that, but it was it was very slim, I would say. Whereas it would be really cool if, I don't know, every month Nintendo was like, here's a new furniture series that we're updating into the game that you can craft or something, and over time they just give us more and more craftable items, which, I don't know, I think that'd be kind of exciting. I think it'd be exciting, especially if they go that free method and decide, okay, we're going to support this game for longer, just because they want to. So I don't know, I think that's an opportunity. So anyways, yeah, I just feel like microtransactions, at least the way Animal Crossing works, they kind of wouldn't work just based on the tradability of things, and essentially, like, I don't know, if we buy an item, we've always been able to trade them. So I guess I'm not too worried about that being a thing that Animal Crossing implements anytime soon, especially with the mainline game. But like I said, smartphone games, mobile games, they're just different. They have to survive in a different way. And I'll say, you know, like, I've spent some real money on, I guess, microtransactions in Pocket Camp, and it was mostly because I've played the game for quite a few hours now. I've had fun with it, so I figured, you know what, the developers for this, I can give them a little bit of money, just to keep it sustainable to some extent. But overall, I think they've been really nice. And oh, I did want to mention this too. There was an article that came out about Nintendo. I think it was, what's that dragon game that came out? They have an exclusive mobile game. It's a new IP, but it's something with dragons. Oh goodness, I can't remember it. But it did come out that they actually asked to kind of lower the amount of things that needed real money to be done, just because they recognize how addictive these things can be, how it can really prey on people to some extent and have them spend money that they don't have. So they recognize that, and they've teamed up with Sony and Microsoft to go ahead and have anybody who has microtransaction types of things, like loot boxes and stuff, they have to show the rates of the items that are dropped. So there are, you know, they're taking some measures to really watch out for that. So I don't know, thus far, I don't really have a reason to be worried about it, but that's all I'm thinking. So anyways, like I said, there hasn't been too much news with Animal Crossing, so I'm just kind of talking with all of you a little bit casually, but go ahead and let me know, are there things you're worried about? I'll probably make this video, I guess I should make it next week since I'm asking this question now, and maybe that'll give me enough time to work on the other video since I know there's some more research that I want to do around it. But yeah, let me know what you... are you worried about microtransactions? Do you think that they're possible? Because, you know, anything is possible all the time, and we never really know what's going to happen, but right now, I'm hoping for the best. But let me know if you have any other worries too, like, I don't know, I guess a lot of people had worries about there being crafting in Animal Crossing, and now it's a thing. So the next biggest worry I saw was cooking for sure, but is there anything that would ruin Animal Crossing for you, especially this new game? But, you know, all we can really do right now is speculate because we haven't gotten any news, and it's time. It's time to hear about this game. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for just letting me ramble a little bit about different things. It's kind of fun to do, take a little break from some more harder scripted videos. But yeah, I will let you all answer that question. I'll talk to you next week. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All right, bye.